Deep in the vastness of space, aboard the massive alien warship, Star Crusher, Commander Rock studied the ancient artifact floating in the containment field before him. The gleaming black armor suit had been discovered in the ruins of a long-dead civilization, and its reputation had spread across 3 galaxies. For 50 years, the armor had remained undefeated. Any alien warrior who challenged its wearer would fall, regardless of their strength, technology, or tactical brilliance. The armor seemed to have a mind of its own, enhancing its users' abilities beyond imagination. It had turned Rock's military force into the most feared army in known space. But there was a problem. The armor was becoming increasingly difficult to control. Its last user, one of Rock's best soldiers, had been found dead inside it after a routine training exercise. The armor had rejected him, just like it had rejected the last 5 warriors who tried to wear it. "Sir," Lieutenant Pat approached with a data tablet, "we've detected an unusual signal from a small planet in Sector 7. The locals call it Earth." Rock's 4 eyes narrowed as he examined the readings. The signal matched the exact frequency the armor emitted. "What do we know about this planet?" "Not much, sir. It's inhabited by a species called humans. They're relatively primitive, they've barely reached their own moon. Most consider them unworthy of contact." Rock turned back to the armor, watching as it pulsed with a faint blue light. For the first time in years, it seemed alive. "Set course for Earth. I want to know why this armor is responding to that planet." As the Star Crusher changed direction, none of its crew noticed the slight twitch in the armor's fingers, or the way its visor briefly glowed with anticipation. After thousands of years, it had finally detected what it had been waiting for, a worthy host. Back on Earth, in a small repair shop in a quiet town, a mechanic named Tom worked late into the night, unaware that his ordinary life was about to become extraordinary. He had no way of knowing that high above, an alien commander was bringing him the most powerful weapon ever created, or that he would be the first person in history to truly understand its power. The armor had chosen him. Now all it had to do was wait. Tom wiped the grease from his hands as he finished working on the last car of the night. The small repair shop was quiet except for the soft hum of the fluorescent lights and the radio playing old rock songs. At 32, he had spent most of his life fixing things that others thought were beyond repair. It was a simple life, but he was good at it. A brilliant flash of light suddenly filled the workshop, followed by a low rumble that shook the tools on the walls. Tom rushed outside, expecting to see a crash or explosion. Instead, he found himself staring at a massive spacecraft hovering above the town, its hull gleaming under the moonlight. Commander Rock stood on the bridge of the Star Crusher, watching the scanning devices map the small town below. "The signal is strongest here," he announced to his crew. "The armor's reaction is unprecedented. Whatever it's detecting must be in that building." He pointed to the repair shop on the screen. The alien leader had seen countless battles, but something about this situation made him uneasy. The armor had never shown such strong responses before. In its containment field, it was practically humming with energy, its black surface rippling like liquid metal. Lieutenant Pat monitored the readings with growing concern. "Sir, the armor's power levels are rising rapidly. We've never seen readings like this." Without warning, the armor burst from its containment field. Before anyone could react, it smashed through the ship's hull and plummeted toward the Earth below. The aliens watched in shock as their most valuable possession disappeared into the night sky. Tom heard the whistling sound a split second before something crashed through the roof of his shop. Tools scattered everywhere as dust and debris filled the air. When the dust settled, he found himself face to face with the most extraordinary thing he had ever seen. The armor stood upright in the middle of his workshop, its black surface reflecting the workshop lights like polished obsidian. It was roughly human-shaped but clearly not of Earth origin. Strange symbols glowed along its surface, pulsing with a rhythm that reminded Tom of a heartbeat. As he approached, the armor turned its head to track his movement. Tom should have been terrified, but something about it felt right. He reached out, his fingers inches from the surface, when a voice boomed from above. "Step away from the armor." Commander Rock and a squad of alien soldiers had materialized in the workshop, their weapons trained on Tom. The alien leader's 4 eyes glowed with anger as he stepped forward. "That armor is the property of the Galactic fleet," Rock declared. "Touch it, and you die." But it was too late. The armor had already made its choice. As Tom's fingers brushed its surface, it sprang to life, flowing like liquid metal around his body. In seconds, he was encased in the legendary suit that had conquered worlds. The alien soldiers opened fire, but their weapons couldn't penetrate the armor's defenses. Tom stood there, amazed, as he realized he could understand everything about the suit instantly. It was as if it had been made for him all along. Commander Rock watched in disbelief. The armor had never accepted anyone so quickly or completely. What made this simple human mechanic so special? As his soldiers continued their futile attack, he realized that everything he thought he knew about power was about to change. Time seemed to slow down as Tom stood in the workshop, surrounded by alien soldiers. The armor moved with his thoughts, responding to his instincts faster than he could process them. Information flooded his mind, combat techniques, weapon systems, and capabilities he never imagined possible. "What are you waiting for?" Commander Rock roared at his troops. "Capture him. Use the heavy weapons." The aliens deployed massive energy cannons, their barrels glowing with deadly power. But Tom didn't feel afraid. The armor was teaching him, showing him things that no alien had ever understood about its true nature. "You never figured it out, did you?" Tom spoke, his voice calm despite the chaos around him. "This armor isn't just a weapon. It's alive." Rock's eyes widened. In 50 years of studying the armor, they had never detected signs of consciousness. "Impossible. It's just advanced technology." Tom raised his hand, and the armor responded by creating a shield of pure energy that deflected the alien weapons with ease. "That's why it rejected your warriors. They tried to control it, to bend it to their will. But humans, we fix things. We try to understand them." The armor's surface rippled with approval, its symbols glowing brighter. Through their connection, Tom learned its story. It had been created by an ancient race as a guardian, meant to find species worthy of joining the galactic community. But it needed a partner who would work with it, not try to dominate it. Lieutenant Pat checked the readings on her device and gasped. "Sir, the power levels, they're higher than all previous records combined. The human isn't just wearing the armor, they're working together." Rock refused to accept defeat. He activated his personal battle suit, its red surface bristling with weapons. "You're just a primitive mechanic. You can't possibly understand its power." "Understanding isn't about being advanced," Tom replied, dodging Rock's attacks with surprising grace. "It's about respect. About learning. About working together." Each movement flowed naturally, the armor anticipating his needs before he even realized them. The workshop became a battlefield as Rock unleashed everything in his arsenal. But for every attack, Tom and the armor found a solution. When Rock fired missiles, the armor formed a protective bubble. When he tried to use electromagnetic pulses, the armor adapted its energy field. "Sir, we have to retreat," Pat shouted as more of their weapons proved useless. "The armor's power is still growing." But Rock wouldn't listen. He charged forward, his battle suit pushing its limits. "I won't let some backwater species take our greatest weapon." Tom shook his head. "That's exactly why it chose us. We don't see it as a weapon. We see it as a partner." The armor pulsed with blue light, and suddenly Tom understood what he needed to do. He reached out, not with aggression, but with an offer of peace. The armor responded by releasing a wave of energy that disabled all the alien weapons in the workshop, including Rock's battle suit. The alien commander fell to his knees, his mighty suit now powerless. He looked up at Tom with a mixture of fear and awe. What are you going to do with us?" Tom smiled behind the armor's visor. "What humans always do when we meet someone new. I'm going to try to understand you. And then, maybe, we can work together to figure out why this armor chose Earth in the first place." The armor hummed with approval. After thousands of years, it had finally found what it was looking for, not a warrior who could dominate, but a partner who could understand. News of the armor choosing a human host spread through the galaxy like wildfire. In his small workshop, now guarded by both human military and allied alien forces, Tom learned more about the armor's capabilities each day. The bond between them grew stronger, their partnership revealing secrets that had remained hidden for millennia. "The other alien races are gathering," Lieutenant Pat reported during one of her now frequent visits to Earth. After the confrontation, she had become an unofficial ambassador between her people and humanity. "They're afraid. No one has ever connected with the armor like this." Commander Rock, who had surprisingly become one of Tom's strongest supporters, nodded gravely. "Some species see this as a threat to their power. They're forming an alliance against Earth." Tom stood up from the car he was working on. Even with all the cosmic developments, he still enjoyed fixing engines. The armor, which now shifted between a compact form resembling a metallic jumpsuit and its full battle configuration, hummed with concern. "How many ships?" Tom asked, feeling the armor's readiness to protect its chosen home. "Over 1,000, Pat replied. "The largest fleet ever assembled. They're calling themselves the Galactic Defense Coalition. They claim the armor is too powerful to be left in human hands." Through their mental link, the armor showed Tom visions of previous wars, of civilizations that had tried to harness its power through force. Each time, it had rejected them, waiting for a species that would treat it as an equal, not a tool. "They don't understand," Tom said, watching the armor flow into its battle form around him. "The more they try to take it by force, the more they prove why it chose humanity." Rock's communication device suddenly lit up with urgent messages. "They're here. Multiple ships entering the solar system. They're heading straight for Earth." The armor's surface rippled with patterns Tom had never seen before. Through their connection, he felt its determination, not just to fight, but to show the galaxy a better way. The human way. "We need to evacuate the civilians," Tom said, his mind already working on solutions. "Pat, can you coordinate with Earth's governments?" "Rock, we'll need your ships to help with defense." But the armor had another idea. It shared a vision with Tom, not of battle, but of understanding. Just as Tom had approached the armor with curiosity and respect, perhaps there was a way to reach out to the approaching fleet. "Wait," Tom said, a plan forming. "What if we show them what they're really fighting against? Not the armor's power, but its wisdom?" The armor pulsed with approval as Tom explained his idea. Instead of meeting the alien fleet with weapons, they would broadcast the armor's true history, its search for a species that would help it protect and unite the galaxy, not dominate it. "It's risky," Rock warned. "If they don't listen, then we'll defend Earth," Tom replied. "But first, we try it the human way. We try to understand them, to find common ground." As the alien fleet approached, Tom and the armor prepared to face their greatest challenge yet. But their strength wasn't in their weapons or defenses. It was in their partnership, in the very quality that had brought them together, the human desire to fix things, to make them better, to understand rather than destroy. The armor's symbols glowed with a new pattern, one that even Tom had never seen before. Through their bond, he felt its message clearly. The real test wasn't whether they could defeat the alien fleet, but whether they could show the galaxy a new way forward. A human way. The alien fleet filled Earth's sky like artificial stars, their weapons primed and ready. Tom stood on the roof of his workshop, the armor seamlessly integrated with his body. Through their shared connection, he could feel its anticipation, not for battle, but for what was about to happen. "Broadcasting channels are ready," Pat announced, her fingers dancing across alien technology that had been modified with human ingenuity. "Every ship in the fleet will receive our transmission." Commander Rock watched the sky with all four eyes. "The coalition leaders are demanding we hand over the armor, or they'll open fire. We have 5 minutes." Tom nodded, feeling the armor's support as he prepared to address the fleet. "Let's show them what they're really fighting against." The armor began to glow, projecting its memories into the broadcast. But this time, it showed more than just its history. It revealed its experience with Tom, the moment it recognized his potential, not because of advanced technology or military might, but because of his approach to understanding complex problems. The projection showed Tom fixing cars, his careful attention to each component, his respect for the machinery. It showed how this same approach had allowed him to bond with the armor, not trying to dominate it, but working to understand it. "Your weapons can't defeat us," Tom's voice carried across the channels. "Not because we're stronger, but because you're fighting the wrong battle. This armor isn't a weapon to be controlled. It's a teacher looking for students." The alien fleet's response was immediate. A massive battleship moved forward, its captain's image appearing before them. "Pretty words, human. But power like this can't be left in the hands of primitives." The armor reacted before the battleship could fire, creating a shield that covered not just Tom, but the entire workshop and surrounding area. But instead of counterattacking, it did something unexpected. It began sharing the technical specifications of its own defensive systems. "You see?" Tom explained as the data streamed to the alien ships. "We're not hiding how it works. We're offering to share what we've learned. That's the human way, we take what we learn and try to help others understand it too." The alien captain hesitated, his tentacles twitching in confusion. This is advanced technology beyond anything we've seen. Why would you share it?" "Because that's what the armor has been trying to teach us all along," Tom replied. "Real power isn't about keeping others down. It's about helping them up. Every species in this fleet has something unique to offer. Just like humans do." Through their connection, the armor showed Tom another possibility. He smiled as he understood its plan. "The armor isn't choosing sides," he announced. "It's choosing partners. Any species willing to learn, to understand, to work together, it will share its knowledge with all of you. But only if you're willing to share your knowledge too." The coalition fleet hung in silence as the implications sank in. The armor had never been a weapon of war. It was a key to unlocking galactic cooperation, waiting for a species that would understand its true purpose. Lieutenant Pat's console lit up with incoming messages. They're standing down. Multiple ships are requesting permission to send diplomatic envoys." Commander Rock laughed, a sound like rolling thunder. "Trust a human to turn a war fleet into a peace conference." The armor pulsed with satisfaction as Tom watched the alien ships power down their weapons. This was what it had been searching for, not just a worthy wielder, but a species that could show the galaxy a new way forward. But in the depths of space, hidden from Earth's sensors, a single ship watched the proceedings with different intentions. Its captain had seen enough. If humanity wouldn't be destroyed by force, then perhaps it was time for a more subtle approach. While Earth celebrated its new role in galactic politics, Tom couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The armor sensed it too, a subtle disturbance that set its sensors on edge. In the week since the coalition fleet's departure, delegations from dozens of alien species had arrived to learn and share knowledge. Tom's workshop had become an unlikely diplomatic center. Alien engineers studied human repair techniques while sharing their advanced technology. But late at night, when the visitors had left, the armor showed Tom troubling visions of a shadow moving in the darkness of space. The armor's energy readings are fluctuating, Pat reported one evening, studying her modified sensors. It's like it's trying to warn us about something. Commander Rock entered the workshop, his usually confident stance tense with worry. We've lost contact with 3 diplomatic vessels in the past day. No distress signals, no debris. They simply vanished. The armor suddenly activated, its surface shifting from sleek black to a pattern of swirling warning symbols. Through their mental link, Tom saw fragments of ancient memories, a parasitic species that had once tried to infiltrate the armor's original creators. It's not over, Tom realized, letting the armor flow around him. Someone's been watching us, learning our weaknesses. The Coalition fleet was just a distraction. An emergency signal blared from Pat's communication device. Multiple breaches detected in Earth's defense network. Something's shutting down our systems. The armor's warning came too late. The workshop's lights flickered and died. In the darkness, something moved, a shape that seemed to absorb what little light remained. A voice spoke, ancient and cold. Such potential, wasted on cooperation. The figure stepped forward, revealing a creature covered in living shadow. We are the Void Minds. We've waited centuries for the armor to reveal its secrets. Tom felt the armor's recognition and alarm. The Void Minds were parasites that consumed civilizations from within, using stolen technology to move unseen between the stars. They had been waiting, watching, learning how the armor worked with humans. Your species' greatest weakness is your trust, the creature hissed. While you celebrated peace, we infected your allies. Now their technology belongs to us. Screens around the workshop flickered to life, showing alien ships turning against each other, their crews no longer in control. The shadow creatures had spread through the diplomatic vessels, using Earth's peace initiative to infiltrate multiple species at once. But as fear gripped the room, Tom felt something unexpected from the armor, not panic, but determination. Together, they had faced threats with weapons, with fleets, with armies. This was just another problem to solve. You're right about one thing, Tom said, his voice steady. Humans do trust easily. But that's not weakness. It's a choice. The armor responded to his thoughts, its surface beginning to glow with an inner light that pushed back the shadows. Through their connection, Tom understood, the armor wasn't just a defense against physical attacks. It was a bridge between minds, between species. You steal technology, Tom continued, the armor's light growing brighter. But you don't understand it. Just like the others never understood this armor. It's not about control. It's about connection. The armor's glow intensified as Tom reached out to their allies through its neural network. Across space, infected ships and stations lit up with the same light. The armor wasn't just fighting back, it was sharing its defense protocols, teaching others how to resist. The shadow creature recoiled, its form destabilizing in the growing light. Impossible. No species has ever resisted our control. That's because, Tom smiled, the armor pulsing with shared purpose, no species ever tried to help you understand another way. The workshop filled with blinding light as the armor prepared to face its greatest challenge yet, not just defending humanity, but showing even these parasites that there was strength in unity, in understanding, in the human way of solving problems. The workshop blazed with light as Tom and the armor faced the void mind creature. But instead of attacking, the armor did something unexpected, it began to translate the parasite's basic code, its fundamental programming. Through their connection, Tom understood what needed to be done. You're not evil, Tom said, reaching out through the armor's neural network. You're surviving the only way you know how. But there's a better way. The shadow creature writhed in the light, its form unstable. We consume. We control. It is our nature. Nature can change, Tom replied. Look at this armor. It was made for war, but we showed it a different purpose. Let us show you too. Commander Rock and Lieutenant Pat watched in amazement as the armor's light took on a new quality. It wasn't driving the shadows away, it was transforming them. Through the neural network, every infected ship and station became part of a vast web of communication. Your species feeds on technology, on connection, Tom continued, the armor amplifying his understanding. But you don't have to steal it. You can share it. Be part of it. The void mind creature stopped struggling as the armor's light revealed something it had never seen before, a way to connect without consuming, to share without destroying. Other void minds across the galaxy felt it too, their shadowy forms responding to this new possibility. Impossible, the creature whispered, but its voice held wonder rather than hatred. We cannot change what we are. Tom smiled as the armor pulsed with confirmation. That's the most human thing you've said yet. We're always changing what we are. That's how we grow. Through their shared connection, the armor began teaching the void minds how to form symbiotic bonds rather than parasitic ones. It was the same lesson humanity had taught the armor, that true strength comes from working together, from understanding rather than dominating. The infected ships, Pat reported, checking her readings. They're stabilizing. The void minds aren't controlling them anymore. They're working with them. Rock laughed in amazement. Only a human would try to make friends with a parasitic shadow species. The workshop's lights flickered back on as systems restored themselves. The shadow creature's form had changed, becoming something new, neither pure darkness nor pure light, but a balance between the two. We understand now, it said, its voice holding new harmonics. Our hunger for connection, it was always about this. We just didn't know there was another way. The armor glowed with satisfaction as reports came in from across the galaxy. The void minds were transforming, becoming bridges between species rather than parasites. Their ability to interface with technology made them perfect translators, facilitators of the very cooperation they had tried to destroy. Tom felt the armor's pride, not just in him, but in all of humanity. That's why you chose us, isn't it? Not because we were the strongest or the smartest. But because you try to understand, the transformed void mind finished. Even your enemies. Especially your enemies. The galaxy would never be the same. The armor had found more than just a worthy wielder in humanity, it had found a species that could show others how to change, how to grow, how to turn conflict into cooperation. In Tom's small workshop, where it had all begun, the armor settled into a relaxed state. There would be more challenges ahead, more problems to solve. But now they had something stronger than weapons or technology. They had understanding. Commander Rock shook his head in wonder. The armor that defeated every alien, until it found a human who showed it how to stop defeating and start connecting. No, Tom corrected with a smile, feeling the armor's warm agreement. Until it found humans who showed everyone that victory doesn't always mean winning a fight. Sometimes it means fixing what's broken, even if that something is an ancient way of thinking. The armor pulsed one final time, its symbols telling a new story. It had searched the galaxy for a warrior and found something better, a species that turned enemies into allies, that saw problems as possibilities, that faced the universe with open minds and ready hands. It had found humanity, and together they had written a new chapter in the story of the stars.